first, I'd like to give honors to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the elders apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and citations to all you Hakim and Aquat out there that follow Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai with truth and sincerity. I like to say Shalom. The title of this video is going to be called The Spirit Himself Bear Witness with Our Spirit that we are the children of Yahawah. Okay? The children of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. The Spirit itself bear with our spirit that we are the children of God. Romans 8:16. And the word God just means power. And the true power of the world, the true power that's controlling the world is Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai. And Yahweh have chosen a special people upon himself that are above all people that are upon the face of the earth, according to Deuteronomy 7:6, that these chosen people, okay, these chosen people are special, peculiar, and different from all the other nations upon the planet. But these special people have broken the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai and moved their God to wrath, Baruch 4 and 6, to the point that they were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and to the point that to speak the language, the tongues, and follow and worship the idols of those other nations for a very long time. And who are those chosen people? The Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indies, and Haitians. And those that scatter abroad, that scatter amongst the nations, man. Okay, the Irish, the Italians, the Filipinos, all right, Israelites that are Germans, Israelites that are Swedish, Israelites that are Scandinavian, Israelites that are Ethiopian, Israelites that are in India, Israelites that are in Polynesia and Melanesia and Fiji, Israelites that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Now, how can you tell by an Israelite? By the spirit, and not just that, by the curses. Because we are scattered amongst all these nations. And to the point that Israelites have, like it says, that scripture, Ephraim has mingled himself among the people. He's like a cake that's unturned. And Ephraim is the so-called Puerto Ricans. So that the 12 tribes have mingled themselves, not just Ephraim, but all the 12 tribes has mingled themselves among the nations to the point that their offspring, their children, looks like those nations that are scattered amongst. Like, for example, you know, I'm a so-called black man, but I'm from the tribe of Reuben. All right, I would be considered a Native American, a Seminole Indian, by the way, but I'm indigenous. And if I went to Japan and slept with a Japanese woman, okay, that child will come out, and yeah, it may look like the mother, or it may look like me, because most of the time the child will look like the mother. But if me and the Japanese woman, an Ammonite woman, will give birth to a child, that child will either come out lighter, with curly hair and more of the or more have more of that Asian look, okay? But it will be an Israelite. Why? Because the bloodline of the father, Numbers 1:18. Okay, it's about the blood of the father, man. So if you only need to go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through your bloodline, through your father's side, then you are an Israelite. But if it doesn't, then you are a heathen. It's very simple. The point I'm trying to make is that Israelites are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And the main reason we could test is like by a spirit. I've been testing out people's spirits lately to see if they're Israelite or not. And one thing I've realized something, if the spirit vibrates with another individual, you know, if you come across an individual, you have a, you know, talk, you know, good conversation. If the spirit vibrates with their spirit, then it's a high chance that they're Israelites. Okay. And I have dwelt with a lot of people that are Irish, that are Italian, okay, that are Asian, that are white, that are East Indian, but they're all Israelites. Why? Because by the spirit. Now, if the spirit doesn't resonate with our spirit, then they're heathens. Because I've dealt with also with Edomites, Elamites, Hamites, and many of these other nations, even terrorists. So the spirit is a very powerful thing that makes Israelites connect with one another. If you ever watch that movie Eternals, they have something called the hive mind, where the Eternals, like, how can I say, collaborate with each other. And where do you think they get the idea from? The Israelites, because no matter what an Israelite looks like, the spirit, man, the spirit itself, okay? The spirit itself shows that of a person that is an Israelite. Because the Israelites are what? According to Isaiah 60, we are scattered amongst all nations. We are like unto the sands of the sea. I use this analogy all the time. If you go to the beach and number all the sands of the sea, it's going to be impossible. Impossible to number every single sand, because you got microscopic sand, you got different types of sand, you got layers of sand. So it's infinite. Same thing with the Israelites. Israelites are like unto the sand of the sea, and we populate and scatter amongst all nations, to the point that we even look like those nations. We even talk like those nations. We sound like those nations. So the spirit, no matter what it is like talk, what language they speak, what they look like, it's the spirit itself. And we're the only nation that have that spiritual ability to do that. Because Esau and these other nations look at each other, even though they're all the nations, even Esau mangle himself amongst his own people. They have like a, how can I say, an individualism upon them. Okay? All right, Amalek hates the other tribes of Esau. Teman hates Amalek. The point I'm trying to make is that these nations doesn't have a spiritual connection like the Israelites do. So how is that? Why they don't have that? Because they're not the chosen people. And the Lord does not look at them as the chosen people. These other nations are like unto spittle. All right, 2 Esdras 6:56. So they're nothing. And the Lord is what you'll call in this modern day term a racist. Because that word race goes back to the word lineage. It means family. Yes, it does mean someone that has a higher, better values and see their own race as superior than others. But if you go into that word race, it also goes back to the word bloodline, lineage, okay? It's not just about skin color, it's about your bloodline. So the Most High is righteously racist, okay? What Esau did, he makes the word racist, into a carnal thing that is about skin color. It's not about your skin color, okay? It's about your spirit and your bloodline. And I'm just that. Are you in the curses? But the majority of people don't understand that. That's why when people see, especially so-called black people, when they see when so-called black people see a person like a white man that can dance good, that got salt and flavor, they be like, man, that white boy got moves. But that white boy is an Israelite. For example, Justin Timberlake, Justin Bieber. All right, what's another one? Jim Carrey. But they see it as a carnal thing because we live in a coloristic and carnal society. Why is that? Because the man that's controlling the society is very, very carnal. Edomites don't go by the spirit. Edomites don't go by the spirit. They go by the flesh. They go by the carnality. They go by the physical things. And the physical things can trip somebody up. No matter what they look like, it's about their spirit and by their bloodline. Because you have Edomites that are dark-skinned and have afros and kinky hair. For example, Lenny Kravitz, Zoe Kravitz. All right, majority of African Americans growing up thinking that Zoe and Lenny Kravitz were African Americans. But truthfully, if you look at by their spirit and by their bloodline, they are from the tribe of Amalek. They are Edomites. But if you look at John Cena, okay, or Vin Diesel, Eminem, Hulk Hogan, Miley Cyrus, Britney Spears. Okay, it's a lot of speckled bird Israelites that look white, that look Asian, that looks Hawaiian, that looks Arabic, that look East Indian by their father's side. And they look like that because they're scattered amongst the nations. But by their father's side and by their spirit, they are Israelites. So Romans 8 and 16 could trip a lot of people up. That's why we test out the spirit. The spirit is a main manufacturer of this truth. It's one of the biggest things in this truth, man. It's the spirit. One of the biggest elements. And if you can't use the spirit to test out who's an Israelite, who's not an Israelite, then I don't know what to say, but the Lord's not dealing with you. Okay? I have 1,000 stories of people that look like other nations, but they're Israelites. For example, I was watching this. It's crazy. I think this individual is an Israelite herself. I checked it up, and let me say this too: your father could look like a whole nother nation. Your father can look like a whole East Indian. Your father can look like a whole Irish person, so-called white person. Your father can look like anybody, man. But if your father goes back, like I said, to Israel, by the spirit and by bloodline, by your father's side, then you're an Israelite. For example, I have two people that I can think of in my mind. It's this singer, which some brothers think that she's a Hamite, a heathen, but truthfully, I believe she's an Israelite because her music is very good. Okay, when I first listened to her, when in 2019, 2020, her name is Pink Pantheress. All right, now she has an English father, but her mother is Kenyan. So she has a white father, but and her mother is a Hamite, so Kenyan. All right, so but by the spirit, I believe she's an Israelite because one thing I've is one quote that I heard from Pastor Har is that Israel hangs around Israel. Israel hangs around Israel no matter what. Okay. And no matter what they look like, if you see a white guy that's hanging around Jake, it's a high potential that he's an Israelite. If you see a group of Asians that hang around so-called black people, by their spirit, then they're Israelites. That's why the spirit is a main factor. So through the spirit, I believe that through the spirit, Pink Panther it's a high chance that she's an Israelite. Because I was watching the brother and he was making a video on the Hollywood industry, and it was a clip of Ice Spice and Pink Pantheress, and if his first thought was say, man, this girl Pink Pantheress is a heathen. I had to test myself like, wait a minute, I don't know if she's a heathen because her music is good. And let me say this, some heathens can make good music, but by their spirit, it's people out here they got tested by the spirit. Because you can't be so quick to call somebody a heathen. You have to test out their spirit. So I test out her spirit, see how she move. You know what I'm saying? And majority of the time, she hangs around with Jake. Now, you have tears amongst us. But the point I'm trying to make is that Jake hangs around with Jake. And not only just that, her spirit, man, her spirit resonates with Israel, man. A lot. Another individual, Doja Cat. All right, she has a Swahili father, I believe, and her mother is, I believe, white. So they consider her mixed. But by the spirit, she's an Israelite. And not only just that, you have a lot of Israelites that are scattered amongst Asia, East Africa, India. All right, that's that scripture, Jeremiah 12:9. We're like unto a speckled bird. And what's another one I could think of? Kurt Cobain. Don't tell me you brothers and sisters didn't grow up liking It Smells Like Teenage Spirit. Now, Kurt Cobain, which I believe he's an Israelite from the tribe of Gad, because man, that music that he made was One of the most biggest influential music of all time. Elvis Presley, for example. Elvis Presley, when we watch the movie Elvis, Elvis will always hang around the tribe of Judah, which shows you something. Because that was during the time where Esau don't even want to be around the perimeter of Judah. They don't even want a Judite or a so-called Negro around them. That was a time where they thought that Judah was basically the devil of the earth. But it was the opposite. But if you watch the movie Elvis, every time when Elvis wasn't performing, he always go down to Motown. He always go down to Memphis and hang around with them Judites. All right, with them the so-called African Americans, Judites, Gadites, and Reubenites. And that's the spirit, man. Which I believe Elvis Presley could be from the tribe of Judah. Okay? Or he could be a Gadite. But through the spirit, he's an Israelite. Okay? Because everybody back then during that time of the 50s wanted to be like Elvis Presley. Same thing with, this is a really big head turner. Actually, I'm walking on this side, it's not cross. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe, she, growing up, we all thought that she was a pure white woman. Blonde hair and blue eyes. But the spirit is coming out that her father, and that's the thing too, I had to do some research on her. She was going through the curses as well. People couldn't figure out who her dad was. People couldn't figure out where she was from. Truthfully, she was from Mexico. And her father, what they claimed was an Edomite. But truthfully, they claimed that her father was an Edomite actor. But truthfully, her father was an Issacharite. He was from the tribe of Issachar. And Marilyn Monroe, everybody want to be like Marilyn. Every woman back then during that time want to be like Marilyn Monroe. And she's from the tribe of Issachar. And she had a certain beauty that struck men everywhere she went. And she had the blonde hair and blue eyes because during that time, people of color was not accepted. So she fitted right in and mingled amongst, Esau, Edom. But truthfully, she's an Israelite from the tribe of Issachar. So the spirit is coming out and showing us the truth. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, that guy that played Flash Thompson in the Spider-Man movie, I forgot his name. He played in something else. Joe, what's his name? Joe Mandingo, something like that. His name would start with Joe something. But Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, that's another good one. A lot of these so-called white actors and actresses, what's his name? John Candy and Chris Farley. Chris Farley, I believe through the spirit, Chris Farley is an Israelite. Okay? Now, I could be wrong at that, but if you watch old photo videos of Chris Farley, he had a spirit of a Jake on him, man. But the truth is coming out that these high talented so-called white people, actresses, these white actresses, actors, turn out to be Israelites, and not all of them, but it's a majority of them could be go back to Israel. So the spirit can trick people up, man. And that's and a lot of these Israelite camps don't have that discernment to tell who's an Israelite, who's not an Israelite. And that can really mess things up, man. Because if you're not using the spirit, I don't know what to say, but all I can say is the Lord may not be dealing with you. Okay? But if you are using the spirit to tell who's an Israelite, who's not an Israelite, then there's a high chance that the Lord is dealing with you. Because like I said, the spirit is a main factor of this truth, man. Okay? Yeah, I believe Doja Cat could be an Israelite, man. A Doja Cat and what's that girl? Pink Panthers, because Pink Panthers make some good songs. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and also what's his name? Give me 1 second. There we go. I'll check it. That UK rapper Central C. All right, he looked like a white boy, but his father could either go back to Zebulon or Judah. Okay, but by the Spirit, that's a straight up Israelite. So like I said, man, the outer appearance can literally mess up these Israelite camps, man, because they just think that you need to have an afro, dark skin, broad nose, and thick lips. You need to look like a so-called Hispanic or Native American. Nah, man. Israelites are very diverse. I mean, come in all colors and all shades, man. And that could trip these Israelite camps up because they think carnally and not spiritually. So hey, I'm gonna end this video off here, man. Call Yahawah by Hashem Yahawashi by Hashem Rakah Kadash. This is your brother Hashemiah. Peace and salutations to all the elect. Okay, shalom.